Welcome to the Ola Hawatmeh Show on American One. Tonight I have a special guest, one of the top tax experts in the country, talking about a subject we're all familiar with, inflation. Up next.
Can you believe how bad inflation is in our country? I'm sure you hear it in New York. I'm sure you hear it around the country, wherever you are. It's massive, right? I mean, you hear it all the time from your patriots, your constituents, right?
Absolutely. What's going on? You tell me from the tax expert himself.
Oh, look at our massive debt. It continues to go up. Biden has increased the debt substantially. And only you're in business, right? You have your own companies, and no business has that much debt, right? They can't produce enough revenues to cover that debt. So what does the country do? Biden then has to do what? Increase interest rates, right? That hurts all business owners. It hurts everyone that's trying to buy anything in our country. And ultimately, it hurts what? It hurts everyone, because then we have what he has to do is come back to the country and say we have higher inflation. And so we have higher income tax rates. So it's just an excuse to raise the income tax rates. This is a socialistic community that they've created. Higher income tax rates, higher interest rates, higher regulation. How does any small business compete with that?
I completely agree with you. And if we point the finger at Biden, obviously they always say they point the finger at Trump. It started with Trump. What's your comeback to that?
With Trump, we had lower income tax rates. We had lower IRS regulation. We had less regulation in general, right? We had way less. We had no inflation.
Numbers don't lie.
I mean, everyone in your community, like, how do they afford gas to go to work? How do they afford food? Like, even, our parents, right? I mean, everyone that we're dealing with, having such a hard time. Gas has tripled. Food prices have tripled. Everything has tripled, right, Ola? And this is just unbelievable.
Completely. And when people ask me, what's the solution? I say remove Biden. But what's the solution?
Ola, the solution is, and it always has been, and we saw this, Ola, with Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter came in and he went to alternative energy sources. That didn't work, right? We went to 19% credit card rates, right, for borrowing. Gas prices were at the all-time high. And then Ronald Reagan came in. And what happened, Ola?
Yes.
Even the Democrats had so much pain that they couldn't vote for Jimmy Carter again, right? There was too much pain, even on their side, right? And so we're seeing
Absolutely.
this now. Even the Democrats, everyone's experienced this pain, right? No one is, exonerated from this pain that's going on in our country, which is massive inflation, higher interest rates, and higher regulations, and no one can survive that. But they continue to do it, right? Ola, you see it all the time.
No, they continue to do it. Small business owners, everyone's suffering. And you're absolutely right. Not only Republicans, Democrats, everyone across the board is suffering. And it's a shame, because I see a lot of small businesses shut down, especially, we had COVID, and after COVID and then the recovery, it's just getting worse and worse. But I wanted...
COVID, Ola, they wanted us to shut down our companies because they wanted to mandate the vaccine. Right. So we had to go tell our company employees that we're going to force the mandated vaccine on them. My employees were telling me they were going to sue me for that. There's no chance you can operate a business where you're telling people how to take care of their health care. And ultimately, all this, they can't come to the office anymore because they can't afford fuel. Right. And the inflation rates have continued to increase. They can't come downtown and afford lunch. They can barely take care of their children anymore.
I completely
And this
agree.
is what they've forced on us. And they're not saying, by the way, let's reverse this, right? Are they? No, they're saying let's continue to do the same thing. They want to raise taxes a lot. They promised they wouldn't raise taxes on the people, the middle class, lower class. But what are they doing? Inflation is a massive tax, higher interest rates, massive tax, and now this massive debt. Now they have to raise the income tax rates for everyone. That's not what they promised.
The future of America, it's not looking so promising. I feel like our short-term solution is we need to get rid of the Biden administration and replace it with, it has to be pro-America, pro everything that's everything that's happening right now is not helping the future of America.
Oh, well, there's no doubt. I mean, listen, the one thing I can say when I go across the country is that people are feeling the pain. And this is independent of whatever political affiliation you have.
Absolutely.
Everyone is feeling the pain, and no one understands why we have to pay for the border. No one understands why we have to pay for Ukraine. No one understands that. But what everyone understands is that we have to pay those debts back. Ola, it makes me think that when you're in business and you give money to someone, you get a return on investment. But what do we get for letting the people in over the border? No return on investment, because they're not even registered here, so they're not paying taxes. We're paying taxes to keep them here in our country. When we give money to Ukraine, they're not giving us a return on investment, not at all. We're not getting any interest back. We're not getting any payment back. No business does that. So what does the government do here? Then they raise the tax rates, right? Because they say, like, well, we have to do this. We have to fight inflation. We have to do everything to basically create a socialistic community. Like, your parents came to this country, my parents came to this country to give us a better life. And that's not what we were guaranteed when we came here. Right now, it's not a better life right now. We have to change that. And the pain is so much, Ola, I think that people will change it no matter what party they're with.
No, I completely agree. And I see how hard you work, and your business is thriving, and you're traveling around, you're traveling through the country from business to business, helping them and giving them advice. What advice do you have for others?
The advice I have, and have always have, is get a good accountant, because listen, the government wants to take 60% of your income, and the big corporations in our country, Ola, the public corporations, the Fortune 500, they don't give 50%, they don't give 60%, they give 10%, they give 5%, right? Because they use the tax code. And that's what we have to do. We have to use the tax code, right? Every time, Ola, that you're spending your credit card, is it a business expense or a personal expense? If it's not a business expense, don't swipe the credit card, right? Don't do it. Oh, don't do anything that doesn't create a business expense, because if we have a business expense, we get to write off 50%. If it's a personal expense, you get to write off 0. So, like with your children, give them a salary, right? Because that salary is not taxed to them, it's not taxed to you, but now they can use that salary to go buy supplies that you would go ahead and buy. You would buy for them and not get a write-off. Now you get to write off their salary and their same expense, and they're going to buy their supplies. I mean, these are the little things, Ola. I tell my athletes all the time, when you swipe that credit card, make sure it's a business expense. My athletes swipe that credit card and they basically think nothing of it. They don't create a business event out of it, and they give $100,000, $200,000 away every week. Although we can't do that.
No, that is great advice. Where can viewers find you? What's your website and your business?
Yeah, engineertaxservices.com. And look, every day we're putting out tips on our website on how to lower your taxes. And it's simple things, right? It's like, forget, a lot of people started working from home. So start to write off those home expenses, your mortgage, some of those things, right? You're traveling with your car now. Start to write off those expenses. It's the little things. Ola, if you have a service dog, write that off. I know you don't have a service dog, Ola, but some people do in this country, and they should write that off. I mean, that's protection for them. That's health insurance for them. So there's so many things. Ola, I say the biggest advice: every time you're spending a dime, whether it's on your credit card, whether it's out of your wallet, try to make it a business expense, because the government says if it's a business expense, we get to write off 50% of it. So that's a big thing.
That is great advice, and especially a time like now. Thank you so much, Julio, for coming on. You have a beautiful view in the background. I think it's your backyard. Enjoy the rest of your day. God bless.
Thank you, Ola. God bless to you and your family. Thanks.